Hi, this is Nathan Day with Sunglo Feeds. Today we're sitting down with Doug Albright. Doug and his family and his dad Pat, they run Albright Swine Farms in Coldwater, Michigan. Mostly show pigs with well over 100, maybe 200 sows. Sell show pigs at a very high success rate all across the country. They also have a commercial side. But today we're going to sit down with Doug and discuss Sunglo's Game On. I don't know, Doug, if we have a product in our lineup that's probably more universally loved across species, especially on the show pig side. Game On, for those that don't know, is a 28.5% protein, 50% fat, 2.26 lysine, top dress, kind of affectionately known as yellow fat. So Doug, kind of walk through me with a scenario of when you decide, you know what, I think this one's going to be a good candidate for Game On.
Well, throughout the feeding process, we look at these bears and gilts and we start getting them out at families that we work with and see where we're at structurally, see where we're at from a build and design perspective. And those bears that need to have more back shape or a fresher, fuller back, or just even in a rounder rib cage shape to them, we'll start increasing or adding Game On as early as 50 pounds or sometimes at 240 pounds in the last few weeks, depending on how far we need to go.
Sure. So is Game On a product that you're using across bears and gilts both,
Yep.
or just bears to build shape up high?
Both. And we use it primarily in market hogs, but at the same time that there are gilts that still need a fresh back and a fresher look in general.
Sure.
So we've used it across a lot of different gilts or bears, but I would say 80 to 90% of the pigs we show or that are shown from us will have some sort of Game On in them at some point.
Sure. So when you're using Game On and you decide, okay, so how are you making that call on how much to feed, how the duration of which you're feeding it? Kind of show me or walk through with me for those that want to learn, how you're feeding that product very specifically.
So we'll start as at a quarter of a pound, and we'll evaluate that at a week to 10 days. We'll start with a quarter pound of or usually I don't go by pounds, I just say, a white cup.
Sure.
And we'll start at that white cup or half a white cup and come back after a week and see where we're at, or get a video after a week and see if we've got more spread and broadness up high. And the really great thing about Game On is it's not a white fat in the fact that you're getting a chub everywhere. Mm-hmm. You're getting it where you need it on the top side of their body. Animals lay on fat, front to back, top to bottom. Mm-hmm. And the way that Game On works better than any product in the business is laying it where it needs to be on the top side of their body, to add dimension and spread up high.
Sure. So you mentioned, you've told me that you've used competitor products or products that maybe people might think are similar to Game On. I kind of tell people what you saw when you used products.
So using other egg substitutes and different, or even just eggs themselves, to try to hold bears or to freshen their backs up, have worked okay. But the science behind Game On in terms of knowing how much to use and how fast it's going to work is really unequaled. We've been able to determine that at a half pound for this long, I can start to build at this rate. And if I do up to a pound per feeding at this rate, I can continue to build or do it this much quicker. The other ones, there's just too much inconsistency in the product.
I think another thing that folks might find interesting is that, when you guys sell a bear, sell a gilt, a lot of times those are going to leave Coldwater, Michigan, mm-hmm. right? Hopefully, yeah. That's the goal.
Yeah.
And they're going to go across the country. So how are you kind of keeping tabs on those and making adjustments and following up, making sure like, hey, this one might need, whatever supplement, maybe Game On. How are you making sure that, you're kind of staying on track and staying on top of those hogs?
So I ask for those families to send videos, send weights, anywhere from as soon as they get them or within the first month. Mm-hmm. And usually it's Sundays and Mondays. I like to have families on a schedule, and so that it's repeatable and I can kind of keep track. I can go back through the text message or email and say, okay, at this date, this is where we were. Mm-hmm. It just it's a good checks and balances. It's not that even the best feeders in the country don't need a little bit of guidance Sure. and help determining when to start something or when to change. So there's a lot of videos. Sunday night dinners at my family have turned into me watching videos. My son Kaiser runs over on the table and wants to watch. So he pigs, I want to see it too. So we watch a lot of videos. It keeps the miles down and allows us to, evaluate where we're at skeletally and how close we are to being ready. So we've started Game On as early as, like I said, 150, and it all depends on goals. We always also ask all those families where we're at and say, we need to be ready on June 1st.
Right.
So, okay, well, for your Game On in April or May, so that we're ready because we're going to need it. We may not use a lot of it in this particular barrel, but we may use it more on this one.
Yeah. And Game On's one of those products too that if you seal it tight, keep it out of moisture, it can last 6 months, no problem. So they can work that into the next set of the pigs that they've got as well. So we appreciate Doug sitting down with Sunglo, appreciate your business, and appreciate you always being a champion for Game On. Again, make sure you check out the rest of our video series. Also check out the 60 Seconds with Sunglo on Game On if you just want a real quick, down and dirty, a 60-second commercial on what Game On is. Make sure you check out our website at www.sunglofeeds.com. And also check out our YouTube channel where we've got all kinds of other videos on how they feed. That's what this series is all about, is learning how some of the best feeders and breeders in the country feed their livestock, and sit down with Sunglo and explain and learn so we can all learn and all get better. We'll see you down the road.